this was a time to where I'm sitting around listening to people talk. Like though it was 2 times. The first 2 times I went to, I went to Montreal twice. I would sit and I was kind of honestly intimidated. You're sitting around with people from everywhere, and normally, I'm in a conversation and I'm able to blah, 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 this and this and that. I'm sitting at these tables with the people and I'm just sitting back like,
You couldn't believe
I'm just sitting and I'm listening because there was so much stuff going on. And then there's stuff that I'm like, I don't even know what they're talking about. Like, because we're talking about, this is my first time out the country. So, and now I'm getting to see how other countries view us as a country, as American, like, you know what I'm saying? So it was a bunch I was learning. So I'm just sitting back and it was a little intimidating at first. But that's what made me be like, I gotta be international. I gotta step up my film game some more. But just from a worldly view, you know what I'm saying?
Like a bigger place than
and that's what
and Charlotte. It's like, man, this world is,
so much bigger.
It's so much, and there's so many like-minded people and people that want to see films and people that want to see different cultures and things like that. It's just so much out there.
So much. March 2013. So 2013 is when I started the festival run, but September 2013 is when I went to Montreal. And so after that, like I said, I came back and then it was like, all right, then when I made the next film, the next 2 films, they were class projects, So I was utilized. I was like, yo, When Tables Turn, When Tables Turn, and The Addiction.
Okay.
The Addiction.
Tables Turn with Shelton.
Right, and that was I had that concept, and that was like we was a producing and directing class. Yeah. And that's when Camille and I worked together on the first time. She was the producer, I was the director, Aisha was the writer, and Jared was the DP. Okay. And that's when we came together and made that.
Oh, shit. Damn it. Come on, man.
And so then that was great because on Evelyn Black, I wrote it, I directed it, I shot it.
So many hats.
And so on When Tables Turn, that was the first time that I was in a position to where I had to relinquish different duties to other people, and that was great for me because I just had always been used to having to do things by myself. You know what I'm saying? From that standpoint, so it was like now you have to trust other people to, okay, this is the producer, this is the writer, this person is going to shoot it. So I just had to direct it, and so that ended up being great. That was great. The concept of it. It was about a gentleman who, just how life can come at you fast. And he ended up, he was on top, and karma just kind of got him, and he ended up being in a situation where he was homeless.
Will that be all, sir?
Oh, yeah, that'll be it.
Alrighty. That'll be 420.
420. Look, I'm a little short right now, and Stacy normally is helping me out. I'm good people.
So it's only a few cents, don't worry about it.
It's more like a couple dollars short.
But he was so prideful that he wasn't letting anybody know, so he was still walking around with a
Taking
suitcase
it till you make it.
in a suit, in a briefcase, you know what I'm saying? Like he was still
Like he still got it.
right, and so that ended up being that, you know, went on the festival circuits with it. I actually won some awards with that, you know. So it was yeah, but it was just like I say, coming from a different. It wasn't as dark. The theme wasn't as dark like Evelyn Black or Subconscious Whispers the following year, but it was something that a lot of people could relate to.
And that's the thing I noticed with your films is they're human stories. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even with Evelyn Black, it's stories people can relate to.
Right.
You know, with women,
Yes.
they could relate to the situation Evelyn Black was in. With Tables Turn, you could
Right.
You could relate to
Neil.
that.
It was Neil.
That was played
the
by
name.
Shelton.
Yeah, Shelton.
Yeah, and you could relate to that. And then with the one that we worked on together, Subconscious Whispers, it was like,
Man.
that was dealing with mental health. And that was
Yeah.
back in
2014.
2014.
Yeah.
You know, so it's human stories,
Yeah.
you know.
There's always a level of conscious. There's always a level of, it's a theme that, you know what I'm saying, like you said, a human element or human, like something that you can actually, people can relate to. Like I remember being at, what was it, I forget the Delta Legacy.
Yeah.
You know, like, and screened Evelyn Black.
Yeah.
And this was like all of the Deltas in there, right? And this woman sitting beside me, she was just like, that's my story. Like, I'm Evelyn Black, and I'm just like,
She had no idea who you were.
no, she knew,
Oh,
she knew, but it was the fact that she was like, yo, like,
She could
like,
relate.
She's like, I can relate, and I was like, man, well, I hope that the whole story ain't you, because you know, Evelyn
Right.
Black is kind of dark.
Right.
Evelyn Black was, you had to, like, Evelyn Black was, she goes there, you know, and we'll be seeing her again, you know.
What inspired that story? Like you just literally just came up with it?
Yes, I just wanted to, like I said, I wanted to do something different and dope. And I remember talking to a professor of mine, and he was the guy that like really helped me and showed me how to create a story from beginning, middle, and end. Like he laid it out, and I used to sit after class, and everybody was gone, and he would just stay in there with me and like one-on-one, like go through the whole process with me. You know what I'm saying? Like because he saw it in me. He was like, yo, you a filmmaker. He told me that. He was like, yo, you a filmmaker.
When did you figure out like it was also time to like end that journey with the circuit and everything?
With the film festivals, it was really well after Subconscious Whispers. That's actually the first film that we worked on together.
Yep.
As far as like conceptualize it, like that's when we really started seeing how we would be working from the standpoint of creating the storylines and all of that.
Like what we talked about earlier about how we feed off of one another.
Yeah.
That was where it was first birthed.
Yeah.
Where we was just like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like we created that thing so fast. We created the script quick.
Right.
And then next thing you know, it was like, it was time to shoot it.
What's the one in, what was that part they said? Part they said. How's it going, man?
Good. This is day one of the shoot of Subconscious Whispers. We get some things worked out with the chroma key. It's going to be a great shoot. This film is going to be one of the best films of 2014. Mark my words. I'm the director, Michael Foster, and we are about to get it in. From what he showed me, as long as you keep the cameras, you know, like you said on that arc, even because the one on the back porch, we might not do the 360, but we'll do it like, you know, we just kind of showing them, like we'll be kind of like, yeah.
So what we have to do, we have to take a picture, freeze that frame, and I'm gonna use that as a reference to kind of like dish over, create the smoke, you know, kind of like mat it out, create the shape of the smoke, so everything will be frozen. Because you can have something moving and something's not, you know.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
Today's shoot, I'm very, very excited about just getting it in, starting production. I'm just so stoked about production and then Mike came up with the story, and then it pretty much just snowballed into something much bigger.
See what we're gonna do. You're gonna hold the pose for me. We're gonna do a 360 movement, okay? And the camera's gonna fly around them while everything else is frozen. So this is what we're gonna work out. So it starts like this. All right. Now we're gonna move. Just hold the pose for me. Can you extend your hand a little more, Mike?
Extend?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And we're gonna doggy and push it. It's gonna be the first movement, and we're gonna push him and then go around. It's gonna be that.
Now, and we had been working on position of power too, as far as with the going back and forth with the concept.
Yeah. You
know what I'm saying? So I think that's what actually helped us out when we got to the Subconscious Whispers. We was already like, we knew, you know what I'm saying? But that's the first one that we actually, once we did that, we produced it. Like we did it.
We actually produced the whole thing.
It was a short film. Position of Power was a script, storyline that we've been working on. Started like 2010, and then like that's what this whole, we got that whole world that's about to come. We'll talk about that later as well. But it's so much, But Subconscious Whispers was so dope. And then that was the first of my films that I wrote that I actually played the lead in. And
so you're into acting.
Right, a little bit. It's funny because I don't consider myself an actor, even though people keep telling me to stop saying that. But I just don't. I mean, I'm an actor, but I don't. It's different. Like I look at myself as a writer director first.
Action. Caller, no, listen, caller, look. I want you to look directly into your TV screen as I say this, all right? Now think about this for a second. You have no business calling me crazy. You're the one that's crazy, all right? You're the one that's crazy. You're the zombie. You're the fucking slave. Listen to me, listen. Now look, think about this. Think about this for a second. If you really want to control people, all you have to do is control how they perceive God. Think about that for a second, okay? Think about that. When these so-called religions were established, they were established by people that had a certain type of agenda in mind. People, all right? It's a simple plan of divide and conquer. And you would know that, but you're so busy being force-fed the bullshit that the media is chomping down your throat. You know what this is?
I kind of
We're gonna take a short
fill in and do what needs to be done.
Okay.
And so I can do what needs to be done. But so if I'm focused on acting, I can act.
I think that makes you an actor.
It does. It really does. No, it does.
I was just saying.
No, it really
I think
does.
That qualifies. But anyway,
it does. It's just different. I don't know why. It's different for me.
Yeah.
I wish I had a meme for you.
Right.
What?
Right.
Yeah, so we are about to do, I don't know what scene number it is, but it's a scene 9. Thank you, script supervisor. Right on time. Scene 9, this is actually the scene where my character Horace and Isis, they come from the psychiatrist's office. So this is gonna be kind of a tense scene.
Action. Scene 9, take 1. Action.
Action.
The supporting characters, I wrote all of them actually stronger than the lead character. So
Why'd you do that?
It was well because at that point, because I was acting and I was still directing. So this was the first film of mine that I wrote and directed and acted in. So what happens a lot of times is you might do a good job directing the movie, but your acting is bad, or not bad, but maybe subpar. Something's going to suffer because you're doing. So what I didn't want that. I didn't want to be directing the film and then people be like, well, but your acting is kind of subpar, or your acting is good, but the direction of the film is kind of subpar. So what I did purposely in that movie, in writing the script, if you look at it, I mean, my character is a good character, but if you look at the storyline, it's the gentleman, Isis, you know, like you look at all of those different characters, and they play a very
more significant role.
Which film is this one again?
This is Subconscious Whisper. So this was a psychological thriller.
Psychological. That's when I was saying we're dealing with mental health.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's really a deep film. It's really deep short film. But you're gonna be seeing more of that on the network as well.
Yeah. Hey,
Let me read this. It's so good. Let me read the script second. Took back.
How did you go about casting the roles on that one? Like, did you feel like you had to get more in touch with like the character, knowing like either whoever was submitting their audition for that, did they have to like go through that? Actually feel it? Did you feel like it was supposed to be like more personal?
For that one, you know what? We didn't do auditions for Subconscious Whisper.
No, I think you already had.
You already knew.
A lot of times, I already kind of know who I want for certain roles. There's certain spots we might audition for, but for the most part, honestly, when I write,
I was gonna say, does that play a part when you
know who I'm writing for?
Got it.
And that helps me.
I happen to be on set and getting this film situated, Subconscious Whispers. The idea came to me a little while ago, and I knew exactly the right people to actually contact to be able to get this film done, all the way from the cast down to the crew.
And I'm looking at the kids, and the father like has to grab one, like Chad or somebody says, "What's with this child?" Did the camera and the 5 people standing there not give it away? You know.
I let him tell him. It's just like, hey, you did a good job.
No. What?
Tired, man. Feeling very good. Ready to get this shoot over. You know?
Yep.
Because normally I've worked with them before, so I know their voice. I know how they're going to deliver it, so it's easier for me to write for them.
Hey, if I were at the end, because is this scene after we're in the psychiatrist's office or before? Oh, okay, so I was going to say something like, let's just say I have a way of getting in his head.
This is, excuse me.
So, but that would make sense because I don't know that yet.
Not there yet. Not position power yet.
Hey, how much do you love me, Horace?
Like I said, I played Horace, the lead, but then we had Fred Forte played the gentleman, and Dinah Sade, she played Isis. And we had all worked together before, so it was like, you know, and Jay played the network executive, and he was in the addiction. Well, Jay Cardell, but then Jay Cohen was the therapist, the psychologist. You know what I'm saying? We worked with him before in the addiction, so it's all like, it's normally, that's kind of how it is in the industry. You work with people that you already kind of know. That's why you kind of see certain directors working with some of the same actors, because it's like, all right, well, I already know what such and such is going to bring to the table.
Yes.
And so it kind of cuts out the questioning of, and then the time, it cuts down the time too of having to audition and all of that type of stuff. This is after the rant, before everything else though. Subconscious Whispers was great, and then I knew, like I said, in putting that together, also, so with me directing and acting, I have to have somebody behind the camera that I can trust. And so that's when James and I had been working on different projects. So that's when I really kind of started honing my skills acting and directing at the same time. So those are the things that people don't see. Like we were, shooting like short films where I was acting and directing just to make sure I can balance both, and really kind of go from directing the scene like, yo, James, this is how we setting up the shot, and him and I would discuss that, and then I could flip into the character and go deep into the character where, the character needs to go.
Baby. Another one?
Yeah. What was I saying?
You were having a conversation with someone. Horace, you want to talk about it?
No.
Baby, I really think that...
I said I don't want to talk about it.
You know what? That's the damn problem. You don't want to talk about it. You act like I wasn't the one sitting next to you while you have a meltdown.
Meltdown?
Call it what you want, okay? Point of the matter is you're not getting back on the station until you go see a psychiatrist.
If I go to the psychiatrist, people are going to think I'm crazy.
If you don't see one, they're going to think you're crazy.
That's how I started, pretty much, getting myself in that space to be able to do that in the long run.
Everybody that we have on set is phenomenal in what they bring to the table. And I feel like if you put a bunch of phenomenal people together, then you're gonna have like a certain level of phenomenalness. I just made that up.
Film school, I was acting in other people's films. That's when you hone your chops. Because people are like, oh, well, Mike, will you come act in this? Or I would go shoot somebody else's film, or, somebody would do sound on my film. And so that's kind of how we all started. You kind of figured all that stuff out. And we had it was an exciting time because we had the premiere for Subconscious Whispers in Martha's Vineyard. That's when I was in Martha's Vineyard. So it was the world premiere of this film. We shot it in March, and then we had the world premiere in August.
That's sad.
And Martha's Vineyard, that was a whole experience because they call it the Summer's Finest Film Festival. It was in August. This is 2014. So during this time, this is when the Obamas go to vacation there. They were there on the island while I was there. So I just remember and it's a journey to get to Martha's Vineyard. Like from Charlotte, I had to fly from here to Boston. Then I get to Boston Airport. You had to take the Peter Pan bus from it was like 2.5 hour bus ride from Boston to like Woods Hole or something like that. Then from there you got to get on the ferry. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a whole journey.
Yeah.
Right. So by the time you get to the ferry, so you're on the ferry, and it's just like this magical. It was like this magical. You know what I'm saying? Like
feeling.
It was crazy. I'm telling you, I was standing on the ferry like by the water, and it was just like this moment, and everything hit me, and I'm just like, yo. Like
teary eyes.
No, I really legit had, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm sitting there like, yo, like it's 2014. You gotta think. So I'm like, I just started making films, and I'm like, yo, we just made this movie. Like I just flew to Boston, took a bus. I'm on a ferry, and I'm headed to Martha's Vineyard. At the same time, the Obamas is gonna be here, and I'm like. It was like the seagulls was like flying in the air, and it was like they were just like suspended. It was just like they were just coasting.
That was a moment to be captured.
It was just like the waves were so serene. It was just like, man, what's happening right now? And it was like, I got there and I remember it was a lady. She's like the Don. She's like the Don. They call her literally the fairy godmother, like of the island. Like she was the Don. She helped me out. So. Like everybody knows, like when you go on that ferry, there's like when you go through that journey, and she was like, but on the ferry, it was all worth it, wasn't it? And I was like, how'd you know? Seriously. I was like, okay, so it's not just me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow. It's really, because you really got to go through a whole lot to get
This was
there.
nighttime or like
no, it was
still
daytime. It was daytime. It's like, and you're not, and the people there, it's like it felt like a whole different country. Because you're not on that island unless you're supposed to be there.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Like, I mean, it's legit people hitchhiking. Right. That's how safe it is. Like, you can go and people are literally like, oh, hitchhiking, let me catch a ride. Right. Because it's no crime, because it's like, you're only there if you're supposed to be there. You see what I'm saying? So it was just like, that shit was so surreal. And for, you know, to be like premiering that film, and Spike Lee was there. So all this is going through my head. So I'm like, this is the first time I'm meeting Spike.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm like, yo, this is like, a few years ago, I wasn't even making films, and you know, now I'm actually in Martha's Vineyard about to meet Spike Lee, and Obamas is here too, and you know what I'm saying, and it was just crazy, and honestly at that time, I was broke, you know what I'm saying, so it was like all of this happening, and I'm like,
wow, yeah.
This is like,
I can already feel like what you felt. Like, is this
like,
happening? Like,
seriously.
Especially with your circumstances, you're like, I'm not supposed to be here right now.
It was one of those that was one of the moments where I was like, okay, this is happening. This is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. I'm supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, doing these. I'm supposed to be here.
You're right where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Sheds tears.